So let's understand simple applications in Excel sheet. Now, before we begin, let's understand the terminologies. So this one unit is what is known as cell. Now, the row which goes horizontal, as I said row, so it is known as row. The vertical ones here, as you can see, is a column. So that is the first and the basic thing that you need to know. So this is the vertical ones. The A, B, C are the columns, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, as you can see, are the rows, and each of this is a cell. Now, as you can see, under the Excel, we have numerous options that are there. Now, when I say numerous options that are there, what we need to understand is, we need to first go on to certain values. Let's say I type certain values. Let's say 8, I do 9, 6, 5. Now what I need to do is, I need to, let's say, first of all, arrange this from the smallest to biggest. So what we do is, we use sort and filter, and I do smallest to biggest. So as you can see, the numbers have changed from 2, 5, 6, 8 and 9. Similarly, if I am typing a lot of data, let's say I am talking about population of country, and I am entering the data of the population of each of the districts across India. So what I would do here is, I would enter all the data, but this Excel sheet would go far below. So what we would do in that scenario is, let me take a new sheet. So here is an option of taking a new sheet. So what I do is, I, let's say, talk about districts. I mention districts, and then I say population. Okay, now I enter all the values, but with each of the values that I want that this panel, that's the first panel, should remain as it is. So what I do is, I go on to view and I do freeze panes. Freeze panes means this pane is now freezed. Even if I scroll below, so this was selected. Now if I do it here, I would have populations. Okay, now what I do is, I select and I do freeze panes and freeze top row. Now this is the top row that is frozen. Now as you can see, after 1 I can see 2, 3, 4, 5, but let me scroll down. So what would happen, even if I am on the 71st value, which is here, let's say districts XYZ, and the respective population of this XYZ, which is this much, okay, I can visualize that the first column stands for district, the second column stands for population. Now if I go up back onto the second one, here I cannot see what was the value of the 71 column. So by freezing, I am making this column a stagnant column. This is not moving, and therefore each of the titles that are written in each of the tables could be easily understood by the values. Now what we have done is, we have created certain sheets to understand the basic functions here. Before we move on to that, let's understand a very basic function of AutoSum. So with the latest ones, the latest Word document that you have the option for AutoSum here, which is directly, I click AutoSum here, and then I have the value of the sum of these. However, if this was not the case, how would you do it? So simply put, you would write equal to, and then you would mention sum. Then you would put in brackets, and within the brackets, you would mention the cell number. So this is A, that's the column, and 7, which is the row. So this cell is A7. So I want to sum from A7 till, so I put a colon, and let's say I want to sum just 3 of those. So I want to sum till A9. Okay, so I mark A9 and I put an enter. So this 13 is the sum of 2 plus 5 plus 6, as you can simply see. So that's the simplest way of understanding a sum feature. Now this is a very basic and a fundamental feature. Now here what I have done is, I have taken some subjects. Okay, what I do is, I have arranged these subjects from A to Z, but I want to arrange these subjects in the reverse order. So let me do it from sort Z to A. So I have Y, that's yoga, and then women's studies coming on to the top, and then you would have archaeology and anthropology going towards the end. So what we are trying to do here is, we can arrange the data. The next important thing, that the common functions that we use. So here I have the 4 schools that are there. For the schools, I have the value for the primary number of students enrolled in primary section, in middle section and secondary section. Now the first thing is we would try to create a graph here. So I go on to insert and I click on to the various chart options. So let me select a simple chart. It could be a 2D chart or a 3D chart. Let me do a 3-dimensional chart. Okay, and I have the chart here. I have to simply select, click on the chart option, and I have the chart here. Now here you would have the labeling as primary, middle and secondary, and the number of students for each of those. So similar to here, I can click on this and I can go on to add chart element. Only when I click onto the chart option and I go on to add chart element, I can click the chart titles. Let's say I click on the horizontal, so I can mention here students enrolled. Okay, so this would tell me about the number of students enrolled in the primary, middle and secondary. And on this I can again go and click on the chart titles and I can do primary vertical and I can mention this as number of students. So this would help me with the number of students that are there. Now this is how you have the chart, and this I click the chart title and I mention the title, proportion of students in each school, students in each school. Okay, so this would give me a kind of complete graph that is there. Now once I have the graph, I have the various options that I could select. Let's say I wanted on a black background, I want it with a certain effects. So you can just go on to data labels, you can go on to data tables, grid lines, legends, and try. Let's say the legend is here. Now I'm shifted it to right. Now it's on to the top, it's on to the left. So you have the various options for switching the chart values. So this was how you use charts under Excel. Now the next important thing we would be doing is using the option of percentage and totals. Now total, as we said, we already did. So it is sum. I start with a bracket B2. So it is B2, I put a colon and then I write D2. So from B2 to D2, I sum the values and that's the total number of students enrolled in the school ABC. Now I have to simply drag this. Okay, I don't have to calculate it for each of those, and I would have the values that would be there for each of the schools. Okay, so that's how your work becomes much more simpler. You don't have to put is equal to sum and then the values for each and every values that you want to calculate. Now the next step is further interesting. What I need to do is I want to find out the percentage primary students enrolled out of the total students. So I know in the first case my total students are 90 and my primary students are 40. So my percentage would be 40 divided by 90 into 100. So what I write here is simply, rather than 40 divided by 90, I write the cell numbers. So it is B2 divided by E2, and then you have star as the multiplication sign in Excel and then 100. So I have the value here, and this is the number of or the percentage of primary students enrolled. Now as you can see, you have a lot of decimal places. I can reduce my decimal places from here to 2 digits. So standard we use 2 digits. Now again I do not need to find for all of those. I'll simply drag from the corner and I'll have the values here. What I can do is I can do the same thing for the secondary. So let me just drag these values here and let's see what happens. Now when I have dragged it here, it shows me in the formula bar what is the formula used. So it says C2 divided by F2. So that is incorrect. I need to use C2 divided by E2, which is the total. So I change the values here as E2. I press on enter and I have the new value. Now with the new value, I'll just drag it and I'll have the percentage of students enrolled in the primary section. I'll have the percentage of students enrolled in the secondary section. So that makes my work easier. Now, the next thing is using formula. Now let's do simple statistics. However, as we said, for statistics we use softwares like SPSS, but simple calculations can be done on Excel as well. So what I do is I go to formulas, I go to insert function, and then I choose the statistics option. So you have the categories to select. I'll do the statistical category. You can just go on to other categories if you are interested and see how those function. Okay, and then whatever values you click here, whatever function you select here would have the description below, so you can just read here. So when I select average, it says that the average arithmetic mean of the arguments would be calculated. Okay, I click OK, and then I select B2 to B5 as the argument. So I would like to get an average number of primary enrollment across all schools, and then I click OK, and I have the values of 47.5 here. That shows that's the number of average primary students enrollment across all schools. So that's how we use the function of average. Similarly, we have the other options to use here. I can just go on to the insert function. Okay, and I can go on to statistics. I can go on to, let's say I want to find out the average, the standard deviation. Average we have already done, so I'll just scroll down here till S, and you would have standard deviation. So it calculates the standard deviation based on the entire population given as the arguments. I'll click OK, and let's do it for, let's say, the schools, the secondary schools from D2 to not D6, D5. Okay, and I click OK. So this would be the standard deviation. However, what we are trying to do is we are trying to find out, we can just put in any of the commands that are here and we'll get the values. Definitely this is statistics, so you will get some value, but we need to know where we need to apply these values. So that section we have covered in our classes on statistics. So where you need to apply standard deviation, where you need to apply mean, mode, median. So all of those the values of let's say regression, correlation, so that we need to understand in detail before just clicking onto the values and getting an answer. So that is some of the basic functions of Excel that we have discussed. We have talked about the basic outline, the cells, the rows, the columns. We have focused on creating a chart in Excel. We have also spoken about understanding percentage, calculating percentage, doing addition, arranging them in ascending and descending order using free space, talking about calculating various statistical methods. So average, standard deviation are the few that we have done. So those are some of the basic highlights that we have understood under Excel. That is very, very important to have a basic fundamental. So once you are familiar with this, you can just go and click on to the various options. So those from finance can go on to finance and see what are the various options. So let's say it talks about the number of coupons payable between the settlement date and maturity date. Similarly, you have certain logical arguments, if, then, and, which can be used under Excel. So when you click onto the various things, you would have certain idea about how to use. But yes, those are some of the common features that we use under Excel sheet. Thank you.